Hello, everyone. This is Luca Majno. We're back again with Frank Gregory Ford. This is another edition of Global News Update on TLBTV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project, where we give you complete, backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. I'm trying to figure out how many times I can say that without screwing it up. You know those news anchors, they always say the same thing every night. You're wondering when, or they're probably wondering, geez, I've said that 15 years without screwing it up yet. How are you on your side of the wood, Greg?
Oh, hey. Fortunately, we've got some rain clouds gathering. And we really need rain, okay? I mean, it wouldn't be an underestimate to say the place is burning up, okay?
Literally. Well, shall we go ahead with Snapshot? It's a big one today.
Okay, great.
And I want to share screens with you if the computer will allow me.
Okay.
There we go. First one, what do we see?
Oh, boy, just demolished Hollywood sign.
Well, LOL. I thought that was
really?
A good way to start our
Yeah,
snapshot. Okay. I want to talk about division real quick. I was driving my friend home one day this week, and I came across Division Street. And I said to myself, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to divide us, right? So if you put that in everyday language, everybody sees it every day of the week. Division, it becomes a part of their language. Division, where are you going? Division Street. Where do you live? Division Street. And I think it's psychological myself. I really do. I think that's another psychological tool, but I just wanted to throw that at everybody to make people think, because it really is a good one. Because that's exactly what they want, divide and conquer. Maybe Division and Conquer streets are close by together. This is my favorite one of the day. 9/11 denier says to Christopher Bolin, you can't expose U.S. government and Israel did 9/11 in one book. He says, hold my beer. Okay? This is how good we're getting. This is how informative people are becoming. You know, I mean, this is awesome, and we want to remind you, and yes, Greg already knows this, but what's Operation Northwoods? Well, think of all the false flags we have today, okay? The real live incidents that kill all kinds of people, as many as possible, the more the merrier, right? Unclassified in 1997, Operation Northwoods was written up by 2 U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff as a plan to persuade the American people to want to go to war with Cuba, right? By launching a wave of terrorist attacks on U.S. citizens. And this is really important. It called for innocent people to be shot, bombs to be planted in major cities, planes to be hijacked, and it would be blamed on Cuba. What does that sound like?
Well, it sounds like yesterday, the day before, and about 3 weeks ago, okay, all the carrying on about how Cuba's attacking our diplomats with very non-specific, untraceable sciences.
Right.
Okay.
Isn't there Venezuela in there somewhere? We'll get to that. Before we do anything, I wanted to get to this. TLB exposed this today. Journalist behind the leak that exposed the Clintons' criminal campaign donors assassinated, blew up in her own car bomb.
Where'd this happen at?
Daphne, Caruana, Galizia, in one of the small islands in the Mediterranean. She died with her car being blown up, and she was set to be testifying and to uncover all kinds of nice stuff, as she did with the Panama Papers exposing over 200,000 offshore accounts. We wanted to send this episode of the show out to her memory, to her loved ones, and to people who work as hard as she does. Because, as I have in my notes, her son, her surviving son, actually says that everybody's complicit in it, because she was one of the people that were left standing alone. And usually those people are the first victims, because she stands alone in what she does. She does incredibly brave things to exposing all kinds of horrific acts. and at the end of it, she's the only one standing alone. So she makes it the first person to be murdered very easily, doesn't it? So this is another count for the Clintons. The average American child can recognize 1,000 corporate logos, but can't identify 10 plants or animals native to his or her own region. Doesn't that sound like what government wants? Isn't that go buy your iPhone, right? Kids under 10 years old have iPhones now. There you go. Greg, you're going to love this one. Detained Marines attorney says, I'm getting all these calls from vets from all over the country. People everywhere. They're disappearing. And then within an hour, I find this. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, classifies individuals as extremists if they identify or are identified with one or more of the following criteria, among many others, which is described as violent. What's encircled here? Let's look at this carefully. Hang on a second. Here we go. Military veterans who have fought in foreign wars and are disgruntled about the takeover of the U.S. See, Operation Vigilant Eagle. Okay, so I found it legit. Here's another report on the web. So I wanted to share it with everybody because this is what I'm uncovering, I'm looking at. It's not the first time, though, but in passing, what we can do is honor all the veterans that have worked in all branches of the armed forces and in our military for reasons they thought were honorable. And it's sad to say that most of them did not know and still don't what government is doing. Do you know why the DHS lists returning veterans as a domestic threat? Because many of them have figured out who the real enemy is, and they've had the training to do something about it.
You got it.
Right?
I will second that in a heartbeat.
Right. Well, look at this.
Listen to what they say.
Greg, we're going to get back to this, but this is exactly what Jimmy Looks Twice said about the native people in the movie Thunderheart. Sometimes they have to kill us. They have to kill us because they can't break our spirit. But we'll get back to that in a minute. 46 years ago this week, a memo launched the corporate takeover of the U.S. government. Justice Lewis Powell, ring a bell, Greg?
Oh, yes.
Right? Well, maybe we can talk about his memo on another show. But with that one memo, he changed the world entirely. And to come back to threat to law enforcement, right? Sovereign citizen extremists fall under the FBI domestic terrorism or domestic extremism program. They are among the top 5 terrorist threat to the United States. People that know what sovereignty is. Imagine that. And that word extremists, that could be discussed. I mean, that's very elaborate. You know? Mm-hmm. This is what's happening as we speak. And I'm sure you'll agree, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
They're disintegrating our rights. I was going to say a French word, but frankly, most of this stuff you can't find words for. So this is what we're doing on each show. We're looking and we're we can't believe what we see. The New World Order is the enemy of humanity. And this is exactly where we stand. Most people, yes, by now they've seen gorgeous pictures of eagles, right? Okay. And when you do see one, they are really powerful, and they mean something. They're one of the biggest symbols of the original people here on this continent, and sometimes you can get incredible shots of them, close-ups. But one thing you don't want to do is get one close to Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody noticed what the eagle did when it was placed on the desk with Donald Trump. It freaked out and it started attacking him. And that's something that's really important to mention, okay? It bothered his hairdo, okay? This is really important because, it's like Native Americans. They'll look at you and they'll undress you with their eyes in 30 seconds or less. This is what eagles do with real people. This is a story by itself. You can Google it. Jeff Guidry and freedom. Mm-hmm. They're inseparable, okay? And this is the spirit that they are trying to kill today. It's called the traditional spirit. It's called human human beings. It's called natural healing. Everything natural, everything healing in the world they want to destroy. We choose the right to be who we are. We know the difference between the reality of freedom and the illusion of freedom. There's a way to live with the earth and a way not to live with the earth. We choose the way of earth. Okay? And in this clip, I wanted to honor all the Native Americans who fought on the side of the USA. You know, I mean, they fought and they jumped to the aid of a foreign country, you know, of a foreign people. And a lot of them died. And it was thanks to the code talkers, was it not? That you know, so, I mean.
The Navajo code talkers.
Yes, there's so many things that we have to thank them for. Look at this. We have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls. We're destroying the earth. Oh, yeah, but it turns out it's very profitable. And this is the way the rich think. They couldn't care less, right? Destroyed the environment and that sustained them. Destroyed the environment that sustained them to build the one that enslaved them. Okay? This is what we're going to be remembered by if we don't do anything about it. Yes, the planet got destroyed, but for a beautiful moment in time, we created a lot of value for shareholders. Right? Does this look like a forest fire to you, Greg? With eucalyptus trees all around?
Right. What is that?
That's California. Does that really look like a forest fire?
No, it doesn't.
No, we'll have to add that one to our list of pictures that we can't believe we're seeing. This is a positive message for me because I was told by a good teacher of mine to be the change that I want in this world. And this is what this ant is doing. This ant is saying, to hell with the other guys, I'm doing this myself. And this is what we should be doing. If we can expose what we can, you and I, Greg, in this broadcast. Oh, by the way, the autism debate is over, okay? Healthy triplets. Every single one of them go autistic at the same time. All three of them. Just saying, right?
Absolutely. You know, that in itself is a whole show, Luca.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to say it. But don't believe us. Don't believe what we post. Research what we post, please. I'm going to say it again with these last shots. This was the ghost dance. This was the power returning to the people. This was the people realizing the power that they have of sovereignty, there's that word again, and of just, you know, natural entity, just the power of being. It was getting their power back that got them killed, and that's what Wounded Knee was about, a lot of it. And we have to get back to those teachings before they turn black and white or before they go away forever, because that's what's going to happen. So there's my show for today, Greg.
Excellent. Excellent. Good show, Luca. Thank you for that.
Well, you're about to blow our socks off, too, with the CIA. What's all this about now? The what?
Oh,
it's not the cocaine import agency anymore?
No. I want everybody to understand.
Oh, that's the NSA again.
Yeah, NSA. It's funny how that happens. You know, this one house phone doesn't ring all day until your show starts.
Okay, that's not a problem.
Yeah, well, you know, it's not a coincidence. There are no coincidences in intelligence work.
No. So the CIA has a new name? Is that what we're saying?
Yes, absolutely. CIA, and I want to make an official amendment to the Constitution. Okay, given the fact that the CIA is supposed to be, and that stands for Central Intelligence Agency right now.
Yeah.
I know I make fun of how they add to their black budgets by calling them the Cocaine Importation Agency. And by the way, yesterday I saw American Made. I recommend everyone go see American Made, because you'll get to see how I spent the early part of my life. You know, when I was 19 through 22, I was actually in the Caribbean and chasing drug smugglers and doing medical evacuations. All right. And American Made stars Tom Cruise as Barry Seal. And,
right.
and Barry Seal just take the show for a second. I need to answer this. This is critical.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Luca, for putting the show on hold, and for our listeners taking a moment. That was a call from somebody that I never get a call from unless it's critical, and basically out of the blue, this person said, "I'm deeply concerned about your welfare." All right, that's what that call was. And here I'm about to tell you something about the Caribbean, the CIA, the drug-running filth.
Right.
All right. The organized crime family of America, the Bush family.
Right.
All right. And by the way, does anybody know this? I just found this out fairly recently, that Marvin Bush, one of the Bush brothers, was in charge of security for the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Yeah, it gets better than that. I have the papers on that, and I can tell you on the next show. I
don't know what to say. Maybe somebody could call in and tell me what to think, what to say. All right.
I'll actually bring that up, Greg, and I'll actually discuss that on the next show. Absolutely.
I'll gladly bring that up.
What's the CIA's new name, though? You haven't said it yet.
Okay. Yes, the CIA's new name, and I want to make this official. It's Cancer in America. All right.
Good one.
Cancer in America.
Let me write that down.
Call the American Cancer Society, ACS, all right, and ask them what constitutes cancer in a system, all right? You will find a definition of how the CIA works and what it does to the organization, okay, and the organism when cancer is introduced.
Yes.
All right? And tell me, if you have an IQ above 50, please call in and tell me how the definition of cancer in an organism like America, the American system, is any different than the real biological cancer. Please call in. That's why we should change the name to Cancer in America. I don't want to, let's pull the blinders off with this whole bunch of nonsense, folks. I just found out a whole lot more about the ballistics of those projectiles at Las Vegas.
Really?
Okay.
Let us have it.
Okay. There it is. We are able, thank goodness, thank God for the internet. That's all that's keeping us from total enslavement, total 1984. Okay. Yes, it was a 5.62 round 223 caliber. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. They were able to pinpoint it exactly the distance from where it was fired, using the very same ballistics that you can get everyone listening to by going simply to gundata.org. That's gundata.org. You will find out how long it took to figure out the distance traveled, the velocity of each round that was fired. It's all there. And
Right.
Yes, here's the big surprise, folks. Okay. There were two weapons. Is this just like Kennedy or what? All right. Two weapons. They had a Patsy. Okay. And by the way, it appears that he had just enough residue on his hands, okay, his right hand, trigger hand, to be consistent with pulling the round off a trigger and pulling one round off before he was shot in the temple. Okay? He was shot in the temple with a 45 point blank, complete with powder burns right on his temporal area of his skull. Okay? What does that tell you about how many other rounds that were fired? A couple thousand rounds maybe were fired altogether. All right? So, yes, the Israeli team that was brought in to do this, they did a fine job. Okay?
Greg, I'm going to interrupt you here, and I'm proud to interrupt you, and I'm going to do it again if I have to. On one of the first shows that we discussed this, and we hadn't even been recording yet, you said to me there was more than one shooting. There was more than one gun firing off because I remember distinctly you saying that you remembered that it had a different cyclic tone to it,
Right.
a different, you know, because the European ones fire faster than the American ones. Just reiterate what you were saying on the phone about that.
Basically, all my life.
Your first instinct, right?
Yeah, all my life, from listening to guns of all sorts being fired, being in combat, being in really tense situations where everybody's shooting with automatic weapons, all my life, I said the first thing, multiple shooters. That's what came to mind. High cyclic rates, different ballistics, different sounds, okay? And it turns out that, yes, I was correct, and the story gets even worse. As I can't even go into all the ballistics that I was exposed to today that were sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but everyone that watches this show can get those ballistics, get those distance ballistic projectile traveled, all those values. They can get them. All right, very simply by going to gundata.org. O-R-G. Okay, you don't have to go to a bunch of lying pieces of human crap like the FBI and get a whole bunch of nonsense bullshit we can't comment stories. Okay.
Yeah.
No, no, it was the CIA, folks. It was the CIA bringing in their deniable contractors to set this whole thing up and massacre. Was it 59 people? Massacre 59 people, and almost kills, wound 600. Okay, and you're probably thinking, well, gee, no, that's not too bad. Well, surprise! You better pull out some old history notes, because you know what the ferocious Screaming Eagle 101st Airborne sustained when they jumped into Normandy. They jumped into Normandy. Okay. Omaha Beach, Normandy, the D-Day invasion.
Yeah.
They lost just a little under 100 people, okay? And this was a huge invasion with everyone shooting at everyone. Get it? Okay? Not a bunch of people scrambling around trying to save their lives, okay? And with one shooter. No, this was everybody that they encountered and that encountered them. Everyone was shooting at everybody, and they lost slightly less than 100 people. This was the first day, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to love this part. They lost, had wounded less people than were wounded at that show in Las Vegas. Wounded, okay?
Well, Greg, before you go away with D-Day, I actually recorded a show, before, when you could record shows on your DVR, right? I know you still can, but there's the History Channel. There's the woman on the History Channel saying that this was a terrible event that happened in southern France.
Right.
Played the video back again. This is the terrible thing that happened in southern France.
Yes.
Play the video again. This is a horrible thing that happened in southern France. Normandy.
Right.
Northern France.
Well, yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
And they let that go. The other thing I wanted to say, because you were talking about the internet, I'm sitting here, I have to write down notes all the time because I can't lose my thought, and I can't interrupt them every 5 minutes. We just said on the last show what you were saying about, thank God we have the internet, or we'd be in 1984. Well, last show, and I'm going to show it again right now, Jay Rockefeller says the internet is the biggest threat to national security for exactly that reason.
And by the way, the father of repression of the internet, everyone knows who he is, okay? Everyone knows who they are. The Four Horsemen, okay? Joe Lieberman.
I'm getting to know them by heart.
Lindsey Graham, okay, right.
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton. And John McCain, okay?
John McCain.
They are busy trying to shut the internet down, and especially after what you just showed me about the whistleblower who just died after exposing the Clintons. How many is that now? As I was saying, the Clintons are killing a person a week, okay? And I know the last couple of weeks there were no reports of any murders that that the Clintons were directly responsible for.
Hey,
But I'm sure we'll come up. That's only a temporary glitch, and then
and,
this poor Greek gal. Okay.
and this is so good for the spirit, because Greg and I can look at you right in the face and say, don't believe us, because we don't want you to. Don't believe us. Go do your research. Keep us in the little the little tabs, the little things that you heard, and okay, yeah, right, and go look for yourself. A lot of stuff that we're going to be showing you too, and I might have just made this decision now without even knowing it, is we're going to be showing you stuff that we're not even sure of yet. Maybe we haven't even looked this over yet, but we'll say it and we'll ask you. We'll even put a little disclaimer before it if we have to, saying, well, we don't know or we're not sure, but we want to share stuff with you.
Okay. Now I want everybody to realize that I'm going to wrap up the show, but I'm going to give you the next Gladio attack sites, where they're going to happen. All right. And of course, who's responsible. Okay. Cancer in America. All right. They're responsible. But understand, okay, it's really needed that the internet is going to be under attack. And I can't say, normally I can say, look it up. Most of the time people say, oh, okay, let's go see what CNN says.
Right.
Let's go ask CNN. Please, people, please open your ears, open your mind, open your eyes. CNN is not your friend. They are told, they read scripts that, for you to believe, okay? And you simply cannot believe a word that comes out of their mouth. It's just that simple. Okay. Remember, the big kleptocracy that owns all 6 media networks. Okay. CNN is their crown and the jewel. Okay. Right. Jewel in the crown. Excuse me. Okay. Jewel in the crown. All right. I want you to believe CNN. Okay.
What we'd like you to, again, research. Don't believe us. Do the research, okay? Check out 2003, when a Florida court gave Fox News the right to lie, to make up stories, and to propagandize anything or everything. They got it from a Florida court.
Now, one of the things I'm arranging for, Luca, is one of the finest alternative news networks and broadcasters. He and I are arranging to have different interviews with different people. Okay, people that you can count on, that you can believe absolutely. His name is Kevin Barrett. Yes. Okay, and I would recommend we all listen to Kevin Barrett, because you're listening to a lot of the people that I've arranged to be on that show. Okay, the Kevin Barrett show. Okay. And you will hear me, yes, you'll hear me do my show, okay? But I want you to understand something. In the next few weeks, he is Kevin Barrett, who is probably the most astute of all talk show hosts, Dr. Kevin Barrett, actually, he is going to bring somebody that is going to absolutely blow the top off of the Black Ops community concerning torture as perpetrated by the Department of Defense, by the CIA, and by the FBI. Okay, and his name is Mark Fallon. Okay, Fallon. All right, he will substantiate everything I told our listeners. Everything, all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Okay, we've said look it up. Well, I'm bringing the references to you, our listeners. All right, Mark Fallon, and you can look him up and go get his book right now. Okay.
Yes.
My good friend General Janice Karpinski was interviewed for the book, and she is going to be giving, about what happened at Abu Ghraib. She is going to be interviewed. Okay, and then here is something very critical: a Doug Valentine. And when I say that name, I can feel the sphincter, the anal sphincter of the CIA snap shut. Okay, you could snap a 10-penny nail on the anal sphincter of the CIA right now when I said that name. Doug Valentine is the expert on all behavior the CIA perpetuates on the American people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, get it while it's still hot. His book called CIA as Organized Crime.
Yeah.
All right? That's Doug Valentine. And then keep your fingers crossed. We expect Tom Clancy to be talking. Okay?
Good.
We're approaching Tom Clancy. Everyone knows Tom Clancy. And I have a personal dog in this fight because Tom Clancy was being interrogated when I was in Maryland. He was interrogated right next door where I was, okay, in the intelligence community, and he was being interrogated because our government couldn't figure out how he was able to figure out how submarines worked, and that's why he wrote The Hunt for Red October. Okay, so
well, Greg, don't go too far off track because there's something really important. I have to say this. You see, I'm talking to the viewers right now, the listeners. See what truth does, okay? What you have heard from Frank Gregory Ford on my shows, it's truth, okay? Truth fears no investigation, right? We've heard it before. If you're hiding something, if you're lying about something, my grandmother used to say, you better have a good memory. Okay. Well, you know what? Why is it when you talk about the Holocaust, and I don't want to change subjects, but look at the Holocaust, how every single country directly involved in the Holocaust have laws about speaking out against them and about
investigating. Okay.
So that should
yes,
tell you something.
I heard that today.
Yeah.
Yes, there are felonies now that our country is aiding and abetting journalists from investigating the real Holocaust issues and how much of the Holocaust really was manufactured,
right,
or did really happen.
And Obama also made a nice little finalized speech about how those people not taking the 9/11 Commission for the truth were to be investigated too, and that was an offense. So what? Investigating 9/11? Oh, if you're not telling the truth, what do you have to hide? That's my question. And for those people who are interested in 9/11 too, you can look up Christopher Bolin and friends.
Well, always remember, okay, I spent 3 weeks debriefing the FBI on 9/11 and Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq and weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. How much of that 3 weeks of 12 hours a day of debriefing do you actually think got into the FBI where they said, we need to check this out. We need to do something. Oh, gosh. Okay. Zero. It's real simple, folks. Zero. You don't have to be a math PhD doctorate candidate to figure this out. Zero got into the system. And guess who they were answering to? The same imbecile who's busy covering for the Clintons right now, Robert Mueller. All right, I will give you the death list. Okay, the sites that are going to happen. Okay, that the CIA is attempting to create the same situation as the Gladio opening shot at Las Vegas.
Right.
Okay. All right. First of all, everyone's saying this year's Super Bowl ain't gonna happen, folks. Okay. It's not because they don't want to do it. The Super Bowl was supposed to be a target, but their planning isn't up to it. Okay. They were not expecting to do this. The Las Vegas issue happened at the last moment. It was planned, but they didn't expect to do it, and they did it. Okay. Now, Super Bowl, this coming up Super Bowl, okay, is not going to happen. There's not going to be an attack. But next year, okay, the Super Bowl after next, that is when it's going to happen, the big one, okay? 60, 70,000 people in one place, and it's probably going to be a chemical attack. Not a nuclear attack, a chemical attack designed to kill as many people as possible, okay? And I've already talked at length about what chemical they're going to use to kill that many people in a Super Bowl. Okay, that's going to happen. Super Bowl after next, and then the next Gladio, low grade Gladio attack, Gladio C, is going to happen, and this kind of is in conjunction with Gladio C. It's going to happen in Chicago. Okay, now you wonder why Chicago? Okay, well, hey, it's a major crime center, always has been, and it's probably one of the most powerful cities in the United States, behind New York. Okay, so yes, it's next big attack stateside is going to be in Chicago. Okay, count on that. By the way, Chicago has the dubious title of having the largest underwater cemetery, okay, in the world. All right, it's called Lake Michigan, by the way. Okay, so yes, Chicago is going to get an attack. And funny thing, you know how that works? Is guess who's the mayor of Chicago?
Zionist.
Rahm Emanuel. Okay,
Rothschild Zionist.
Hey, and where Chicago was? Where was Obama from? Where was Obama from? Right? Okay, put it all together, folks. It doesn't take an intelligence trained analyst like me to figure this out. Okay, Obama was from Chicago. Okay, and everybody, including my grandmother, baking cookies right now, knows that Obama was a CIA a Manchurian candidate. Okay, anybody doubt that? Please wake up. All right, and then there's going to be several more attacks. Okay, over the next 18 months, and oddly enough, the next attack after that is going to be a place called Baton Rouge. And everybody's kind of wondering, oh, really? What? Why Baton Rouge? Okay, it's not really important. Bedroom community to New Orleans. Okay, well, first of all, remember, folks, where did all the intrigue come from about killing Kennedy? It didn't come from Dallas. All the planning happened in New Orleans. All right, with the Marcello mob, his accountants. Okay, direct connection to Latin America. The 5 generals that did all the planning, including Castro, okay?
Yes.
Including Churchill, okay? So, and then all the major drug running into the Caribbean, okay? Cocaine, the whole bit, came from Baton Rouge. So if you want to say, oh, this is a big sweep under the carpet for the Cancer in America Agency, okay? CIA, Cancer in America, remember that, that's their new title. Okay. There it is, right there. All right. And then out of the blue, I heard something, okay, today, and I want the Canadians to know about this. Yes, they are supposed to get an attack. We can't leave out those lovable Canucks, all of them named Frenchie, I mean, Sergeant Preston and Yukon King. Well, there's going to be an attack in Toronto. Count on it within the next 18 months, okay? And it is coming from good old Gladio C, okay?
Yeah.
There it is, right there. I can't be any more plain. Now, there was a hint that there's going to be 2 more attacks. I can't confirm them. These are the ones I can confirm, okay? And I don't want to have the agency denying it, carrying on. Oh, no, we would never do anything so horrible, all right? Well, they've already killed, 4,000 people on 9/11, okay? And believe me, they're just getting wound up, okay? Who's going to stop them? The only person that has the guts to stop them is somebody who knows them very well, Jesse Ventura, okay? So, so let's keep that momentum building. It's like a wave watching, okay? It's a wave action for our society.
We did really good. We have over 2,300 hits since the last show.
Good.
Since Monday. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, excellent. And, I don't mind giving all of this prediction and oracle, postulations and projections. I don't mind doing that as long as people think, as long as people are aware. Okay, so that's what we need. We're way past the tipping point, folks. We might not be able to pull this thing back. Okay, and a closing statement. Don't be surprised if there's a huge revelation about our quote sitting wannabe president. A huge revelation coming up very shortly that will stun everyone concerning this president and Russia. Okay, and why we are trying to pick a fight, doing everything we can to start a fight and get a whole lot more Americans killed. Okay, don't worry. Hey, they signed up for it, right? According to Donald Trump, they signed up for it. Okay, that's what he said about the last 4 that were killed in Africa. And that is going to be a revelation beyond all description. Okay, and it will even survive the attempt of the 6 media networks to suppress it with a full court press. Okay, so stand by for that. You will hear about it. Believe me, I will make sure that our listeners hear about it. Okay, there it is.
Perfect.
Okay.
Can't thank you enough, Greg.
So, and I'm going to call my good friend who called in with a panic concerned about me, and I will return that call.
Good.
Okay?
Thank you so much for tonight. We'll talk to you next time.
My pleasure. Let's do it again real soon.
Okay.
Okay, buddy. Good night to our listeners.